What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, certainly coming through with a brand new video today, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to get into WandaVision episode number 8, the penultimate episode before the season finale next week. I've been enjoying this season so incredibly much. I mean, honestly, the idea of sitting through 8 weeks of WandaVision has felt like a breeze, to be perfectly honest with you. So the idea of us having one more episode to certainly go is kind of heartbreaking, to say the least. But I will say this, we definitely do at least have to look forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier that should be dropping in March also. So we shouldn't have too much of a break after WandaVision to certainly look forward to. But I've been really impressed with this season so far, guys, to the point where I really just do not want this season to end, to be perfectly honest with you. Who knows if we're going to get ourselves a season 2? This feels more like a limited series to kind of take Wanda into another direction, whether that be Doctor Strange, Spider-Man 3, whatever her storyline is certainly going to be. But we'll see if we'll ever get ourselves a season 2 out of WandaVision. But it feels like it's pretty appropriate for just one season, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But if I can be honest, for me, when it comes to episode number 8, easily one of my favorites, guys, to be perfectly honest with you. It's one of those things I'm trying to, it's probably in my top 3. I probably couldn't even tell you what my favorite episode so far was of this season. There's just so many good ones, but this is definitely up there with them, to be perfectly honest with you. But I want to know what you guys thought. What did you guys think of episode number 8? Certainly let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just me today, unfortunately. I know Stuart said he wasn't going to be able to join us today. Stuart will be back for Sunday's episode of A-Plus Hero Report. I believe Indy was going to try and join us, so we'll see if he pops back up in here or not. I know he did have to work today, but you got me. You got this handsome face, and I do need to shave and probably get myself a haircut sometime next week, to be perfectly honest. But guys, let's get into this episode, because honestly, I love episodes that finally give you some answers, right? This very much felt like, let's just fill in as many of the blanks as we certainly can. But what I also enjoyed is the idea that Marvel still manages to surprise you even at the end of this episode. If you did have the opportunity to check out the mid-credit scene, we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it as well. But I continue to just be impressed as to all the mysteries that they continue to have, the way that the storyline continues to unfold each and every week. They give you a little bit, and then they continue to let you ask more questions also. But this definitely was the episode of answers. And so we really kick off this episode with Agatha Harkness, who we'll start off by talking about, getting an opportunity to have a little bit of a flashback here with her, seeing that she was in fact a witch back in Salem. I believe the year was 1693, Salem, Massachusetts, if you will. And it looks as though they're trying to burn her at the stake, or at least sacrifice one of their own. One of the witches' coven have decided to go ahead and put her up. And what we come to find out here is that Agatha has been dabbling in a little dark magic that she probably isn't prepared for, right? I think her own mother says the fact of her age, whatever position she's in the coven, she's definitely experimenting with dark magic she's certainly not supposed to. One of the theories that is going around in regards to Agatha is, if you recall from episode 7, last week's episode, we did get a very close-up shot of what looked to be a very old book, maybe a book of magic or whatever the case may be. There are some people that are suggesting that book might actually be from the vault of Doctor Strange, if I'm not mistaken. If you go back and check out the Doctor Strange movie, I do believe that there is a book that's possibly missing. So this could potentially be it, that Agatha maybe has wound up capturing for herself, has been dabbling in some dark magic, because we do get the opportunity to see that while they are trying to sacrifice her at the stake, she kind of turns the tides on them a little bit, right? And this almost kind of makes a little bit of a connection for me to that, what was that, Yo Magic, that yogurt commercial, if you will, that we wind up getting last week. The idea of like draining your abilities and your powers, because it definitely felt like that's what Agatha was doing with the other witches, that they were trying to destroy her, and she was pulling at their life force or whatever the case may be, even her own mother, before she winds up sort of escaping. So I'm really glad that we wind up getting to see a little bit of a backstory to Agatha. I'm pretty sure there's plenty more here. But one of the things that I do find fascinating is I feel like Agatha's kind of telling this story a little bit, or we're getting told this story a little bit, because Agatha kind of wants to know how Wanda has become so incredibly powerful. I love the interaction between these two here in this episode. The idea that you realize that Agatha's kind of surprised that Wanda's as powerful as she is, considering the lack of training that she's had. She even references the idea that she's surprised Wanda didn't catch some of the symbols, that were hanging above the circle that they were in their chamber, really giving Agatha the ability to kind of squash Wanda's abilities, right? She can't harm Agatha in this particular location that she's in. But it is fascinating to Agatha here that she points out to us just how far along Wanda certainly is in her abilities without being trained. Like there's a hint of almost like Agatha being envious a little bit of what Wanda's capable of, and also a hint of, let me kind of push you a little bit more so you can even get further to your breaking point a little bit faster. It feels like there's a little bit of both in there, because I love the fact that she explains to her, like, look, the idea of mind control is something that clearly Agatha has had to work at for a really long time, just to maybe control one person or maybe two people, right? But the concept and idea of being able to control an entire town, even when you're not in that vicinity, compared to what Agatha can certainly do. Mind-blowing stuff here. And also on top of that, just the idea of not just one spell that Wanda has to control, but being able to do multiple spells all at one time is a feat that Agatha herself honestly has not even seen. So again, it goes to show you not only how powerful Wanda is, but how untrained she certainly is in this chaos magic that she certainly has within her, and hasn't even realized it perfectly yet. So clearly Wanda is certainly going to be a threat to Agatha. That's probably why Agatha has her kids next to her during this particular episode. But I am fascinated to see where this is certainly going to lead to. One of the things that I'm definitely continuing to be under the impression that this season is not going to end well for Wanda at all. You're definitely under the impression now that once that hex drops, right, once her control over this reality over Westview winds up dropping, everything that she knows and loves and that she's kind of built for herself here will be lost again, right? Vision, clearly not the Vision that I thought it certainly was, right? Another swerve that they wind up telling us about, and we kind of got glimpses of that a couple of episodes ago. The idea of Vision as he goes through the portal kind of being ripped apart, if you will. And I was kind of fascinated when that happened, because I was thinking to myself, well, if Vision's an actual android or synthesized weapon or whatever they want to refer to him as, wouldn't his body just have like fallen dead once he kind of went through? But the fact that we literally see pieces of him kind of being torn apart and pulled back in definitely hints at the idea that he's not from this reality, that he's literally been created with inside of this hex. So once this hex drops, I'm thinking Vision is gone that she created, and I'm thinking both her sons are probably going to be all gone also that she winds up creating inside of this hex. We'll see what winds up standing around once everything kind of falls apart for her. But yeah, man, you might have to get your tissues ready, guys, because Agatha is definitely pushing Wanda to a breaking point here. So I really enjoyed what I wind up seeing in this episode. No hints at Mephisto. I feel like whether or not he'll pop up in episode 6, we'll definitely see. But I love the story for Agatha. I love what she's attempting to try and do when it comes to Wanda. And I also love the fantastic sort of road down memory lane that we wind up getting these two ladies on. I think Catherine Hahn has been doing a marvelous job. There are some people out there that were saying that maybe Catherine Hahn should be, nominated for an Emmy from her performance. While I have enjoyed her performance, I don't know if it would necessarily go that far, just because for me, I feel like maybe a bigger role for her in the very earlier episodes probably might have really gone a long way for her. But I've loved Catherine Hahn in here. I think she's been doing an amazing job, to be honest with you. And I'm really loving her as Agatha, and especially the costume design for her at the end when you finally see her in all of her glory, if you will. I love the costume design that they wind up putting together for her. She looked great. She looked great as Agatha. But let's just go on this journey down memory lane, if you will, when it comes to Wanda. Wanda's origins have very much still been a very big mystery, right? I mean, we've had hints of it, right? I mean, we've heard tidbits. If you go back and you watch Age of Ultron, right, you realize that she was experimented on by Hydra. You know, there was one story that they wind up telling us, her and Pietro, about, you know, the Stark missile that was inside their house for a couple of days or whatever the case may be, that they were waiting around, not sure what was certainly going to happen to them. So outside of that, though, the origin story of Wanda is very much still a mystery. And so I love the fact here that Agatha allows us to really tap into Wanda's memories and kind of get that explored to the utmost. So really love the idea of taking us back in time and seeing even before the experiments that she had abilities herself, which wind up helping her and Pietro wind up surviving in here. I believe Agatha called it the probability hex that Wanda put on the missile, not even aware that she certainly did it. But I do find it fascinating that Wanda tends to have these memory lapses, these gaps in her memory, that she didn't even recall the idea that she utilized some of her abilities to go ahead and stop that missile that was in their apartment. But I really enjoyed this moment back in Sokovia. I really did, not only to get the opportunity to see her family, but honestly, we get the opportunity to see where her love for sitcoms come from and why the idea of sitcoms truly is the theme of this particular season, because of the fact that this is what she certainly it relates to, her sort of moment to kind of hide away from the real world, if you will, right? It seemed from the moments in Sokovia that the idea of maybe bringing in some of these videos and these tapes and things like that might have been illegal, maybe like American propaganda that you probably can't have in your household or something like that, because they did have videos like hidden inside the wall, behind curtains and things like that, hidden inside of a briefcase type of thing. It seemed very much as though they were in the process of trying to learn English with maybe a future of eventually going over to America or whatever the case may be. But I did love just that idea of them learning English from sitcoms. Clearly, Wanda had a love for sitcoms. Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy. So I love the fact that we at least have it explained to us as to why Marvel went this direction in regards to all the sitcom things that we've had throughout this entire season. So I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I don't know who directed this episode also, but some fantastic shots all throughout this episode, honestly, too. The fantastic edit of when they are sitting in front of the television and the room just explodes on them. I thought that was brilliant. Seeing Wanda walk into the black and white frame for the first time at the end of the episode, where she steps forward, and then the quick edit into just seeing her in her shoes in black and white kind of appearing on stage for the first time. I thought that was pretty neat. Also, some of the cinematography and shots when we see her being experimented on and she's kind of communicating with the Mind Stone, or it's reaching out to her. I thought there was really beautiful scene selections in here. So a really well put together episode, if I could be pretty frank, honestly. And then, yeah, speaking about the scientist aspect of things, getting the opportunity to see her confrontation with the Mind Stone, getting a glimpse of what the potential Scarlet Witch might actually look like. I mean, it looks as though it definitely looked like it was Wanda with that jacket and the long tail that she usually rocked, I think, in the Avengers Infinity War, if I'm not mistaken. But she also had the headpiece on also, which I cannot wait to see her in her full Scarlet Witch get up at some particular point in time also. And I also really enjoyed just the swerve that we wind up getting from the her appearance over at Sword. I think that was the last memory that they wind up exploring in here, really kind of allowing Agatha to kind of put all the pieces together, if you will, to kind of really help Wanda understand and remember why she got to this particular point. And what I find fascinating about the moment when it comes to her meeting with Sword, I think a lot of us were under the impression, especially the way that Hayward kind of presents it to us, the idea that Scarlet Witch, you know, Wanda just came in and stole Vision and took him to Westview, when we really see that that whole entire situation was vastly different than what it certainly was in reality. So I love the idea that Hayward at least didn't seem like he was a complete dick this time around, right? When talking to Wanda, probably clearly understanding her power level. You don't want to piss off Wanda, to say the least. She could probably rip you a new asshole if you get on her bad side, Hayward. So I love the fact that he at least allowed her to try and see Vision for the last time, if you will. And listen, I can kind of get his perspective on things, right? I mean, you just had this huge tragic event. Vision clearly being one of the most powerful weapons in the world, that certainly had a lot to do with the main battle that happened down in Infinity War. If half of your population has just been taken away from you, you probably get a little bit scared, right? This is really the mentality that Hayward seems to be in. In a mindset of fear, the idea of let's not have this sort of thing happen again. And one way and able to do that is to sort of take Vision off the board, if you will, right? Trying to take him apart and keep him to yourself. Granted, we do see that Hayward winds up still trying to utilize Vision sort of as a weapon. But again, we're under the impression that Wanda takes Vision and winds up leaving. So I just thought this was a really beautiful moment between these two, having Wanda actually get the opportunity to see the corpse of what's left over when it comes to Vision. And just for you comic book nerds out there also like myself, this screams right out of the pages of comic books. I believe it was during John Byrne's run, you get the opportunity to see Wanda herself, over the body of a disheveled Vision, just kind of torn apart and taken apart and things like that. So I love the fact that they at least harken back to the comic books for these amazing moments that they wind up telling for us in the Disney Plus series here. And also, I did see over on Twitter, this was pretty cool. I didn't even catch this. There is a scene in, I think it's Infinity War, where we have Wanda and Vision together. I think they're on the streets of Paris or whatever the case may be, and she's examining his Mind Stone, and she mentions the idea of, I can feel you. And so I just thought it was a really great mirror to this moment when she's standing over Vision and she's trying to sense him inside, and she winds up saying, I can't feel you. And I thought that was a really cool parallel that I didn't even know. And the fact that the fact that there is a parallel like that, you got to think that Marvel intentionally put that in there. I mean, just they think of just the smallest things and the grandest things that just win you over each and every time. And that was definitely a moment that I absolutely love. So when you get punched with this reality, though, that she doesn't take Vision, you start thinking to yourself, well, then who the hell is that guy? Who the hell is that guy inside the sitcom with her? And you come to realize once again the ability and the power of Wanda, that she can create things just boom like that. And honestly, I don't know if Elizabeth Olsen has like a yoga instructor or whatever the case may be, but she does this weird matrix thing all the time when she uses her ability. Like she like bends over backwards and stuff all the time. I feel you could find like a montage of Wanda doing the whole matrix move each and every time. But I love just seeing her literally create Vision just out of thin air, if you will, using her chaos magic to go ahead and create life. And honestly, that also explains to us why Vision does not remember anything prior to his time in Westview, right? Agatha or Agnes telling him like, you're dead and weren't you an Avenger? And he has no clue what she's talking about. And I was definitely under the impression that because he was taken offline and maybe rebooted, maybe he didn't remember, but he doesn't remember because he's not that Vision. And I just thought, again, giving us answers, but also just still knocking us off our feet with a ton of mystery and questions. And I thought it was brilliant. I absolutely love the way that they handled this episode. One of my favorites. Yeah, man, I absolutely loved it. But listen, guys, there's still more to certainly talk about, but I want to go ahead and get my boy in here because Indy Uchiha has certainly made it in today. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
What's cracking, man? Everything's good. Everything's good.
Oh, hold on. Let me put my headphones in because I don't want to get like bad.
No, you're good.
How was the drive from work, man?
Man, that drive from Illinois back to Indiana is a monster.
Jesus. Okay. Let me ask you a question, man. We've kind of been talking about it. I'm sure you've probably been listening along the way too. Overall, what were your thoughts about this episode?
To me, this was honestly, I'm gonna say this is possibly my second favorite episode of the season. Right behind episode 3, and that's because episode 3 was just so cool with the way it was shot and with all the reveals and stuff they did. But this episode gave you so much and was directed so well. It left you craving more. But but at the same time, it felt like you was at a buffet and you filled your plate up. You know what I'm saying? And you cleaned the plate and you realized it was time for seconds, but they were closing. That's what it felt like. I love the way that they're retconning some things without retconning some things. You know what I'm saying? They're doing a perfect thing at bringing the casual Marvel fan along, but putting enough in to keep the comic head happy. That's what it feels like. And if they keep doing stuff like this, if this is what the quality that every Marvel show is going to have, man, we are in for a run this year.
It feels that way, man. It honestly feels that way from what I can see so far. I mean, listen, we've only seen trailers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but if they're putting this type of effort into a WandaVision show that I don't even know if people, when it was originally announced, even cared that much for. But the fact that they've allowed us to fall in love with this show, and you're going to tell me that we're going to have a Falcon and a Winter Soldier, I'm really expecting fantastic quality kind of going forward. Like, you can't spoil me like this, Marvel, and then drop off your quality after this. So I'm really hoping that they definitely keep things together. Quick shout out real quick. Let me go ahead and do some shout outs real quick since you wind up joining us. Dino Real Soul certainly in the house. Appreciate you coming by. We got Beast Boy certainly in here also. Let's see here. We got my boy Michael. What's up, Michael? Appreciate you getting in here, man. He says, yeah, my hair is getting out of control. I can't lie. I do need to get me a haircut quick. Let's see here. Jay, what's up, Jay? Appreciate you coming through as always. Yeah, guys. So thank you very much for certainly coming through today. Let's see. Pietro does ask, Beast Boy does says, where was Pietro in Wanda's flashback? Well, she was, Pietro was the little boy that was with her. Is that the flashback that I'm thinking he's talking about?
Yeah, I think he's talking about as far as like Pietro's death, but it's some stuff. The way Agatha was looking through things, it were key things that catapulted Wanda to being, you know what I'm saying, who she is today. So she was only looking for key events. Yes, his death was a key event, but she had vision to help her over that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, she through certain things she didn't have anybody, but she had vision to help her through that. So that's why I feel like it didn't affect her as much. She was able to get over that because she had vision. It's only when she lost vision that it looked like everything came barreling down. And like, they made sure to supplement the point that she just came back. You know what I'm saying? Like, she lost vision. I love the fact that they put the scene from Endgame, and that was Endgame. It's in Infinity War. They put the scene from Infinity War in there. And I think, was that at the credits? I know I saw a scene in Infinity War of Vision getting his soul stone ripped out. I just can't remember when we saw it. Or maybe that's just me flashing back to something. I don't know. They might have explained it so well that it was in my head. But her blipping right after that and coming back, you got to think, what was it? It was like 5 years, wasn't it? That everybody was gone? Mm-hmm. And then she's gone 5 years and then having to deal with that grief. It's no different than what Monica went through, that anybody went through. Then when we watch Endgame, through all those people having to deal with the blimp or whatever they want to call it, having to counsel with Captain America when they get back. You know what I'm saying? Being gone, everything's
she
changed.
Probably should have been. Yeah, she probably needed some of those meetings, bro.
Yeah, and to her, Vision was a human being. Vision wasn't just a thing. You know what I'm saying? Vision had a soul. Like just like you said in the scene in the Infinity War, I can feel you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, she felt Vision. Vision was more than just this artificial piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a real person. So you understand when she knows, and that's what gets me. That's what I love, them doing different views of scenes. She knows that he doesn't have rights. It's what she goes in there wanting to do something for her because she needs to let go. You know what I'm saying? Because she can't get over it. And then the little paperwork of where they're going to live at, where they're going to grow old together. You know what I'm saying? The different little things like that. And she had let go. You know what I'm saying? You saw her trying to let go. And then it was just a rush and emotion coming back when she went to that place and realized that she was not going to have that moment with him.
Yeah, I do wonder when it was that Wanda and Vision actually ended up getting that property deed to begin with. I'm kind of curious as to when they kind of set that up for themselves. But I did find that fascinating, the idea of her leaving and then yet going over to Westview, where there was an empty plot where her and Vision were supposed to go ahead and actually create their family and wind up living. I thought that was some pretty powerful stuff. So I can see why she certainly would have that explosion of grief and emotion, if you will. And one of the lines that continues to be a theme throughout this season is to sort of accept your truth. Because not only did we hear that from Monica in last week, but we also heard that from Agatha in here, and then also just being that scene that you talked about of Vision being there for Wanda, which I think takes place right after Age of Ultron, I believe it is. I think she says that when she just moved into the mansion, the idea of Vision being there to talk to her a little bit about that grief. I think he says something along the lines of, but what is grief if not love persevering? The idea of you still loving this person and having that bottled up inside. And if you just don't come to terms with the truth that it's time for you to move on, this is the type of stuff that's gonna weigh Wanda down without. And what I love too is the fact that she even tells Vision then that she doesn't even want to talk about it. And it's one of those things where it's like, even back then, you can see how she was handling her grief the same way that she is now. The idea of not necessarily wanting to confront it or talk about it. But like we said, the running theme in here is to confront the truth of the matter. So I do love that that's running here.
And it's not even that. You know how many big moments they glanced over that she had to go through? Because the scene with Vision, it feels like it was right after Age of Ultron, before Civil War. You know what I'm saying? She still has the friggin'
she didn't even kill the people yet, like in Civil
War. Yeah, they didn't rehash that. So just think about how many things they left out that she's also dealing with. It's crazy when you think about it, because she hasn't had much screen time as a character. This is the most screen time she's had, period, is what she's had in this show. Think about how much transition her characters have from when she popped up into the movies to, in the Endgame. She's went through the most. Screw anybody else. Like, she's went through the most from being locked down by Tony. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she still hates Tony.
For that?
I still feel like she still has a problem with Tony Stark.
Did she attend the wedding? Was she at the wedding, the funeral, or was she off on her own thing?
She was at the funeral, but she was at the lake.
Oh, okay.
That's why Hawkeye.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if she was actually like in that one morning shot where it's the slow-mo shot. I couldn't remember if she was in that or not.
She was off at the lake. Even then, she was like, we lost more than just Tony. It was like nobody cared about Vision. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it's because they think logically, like, well, which I'm still thinking in my head, 110%. I know Shuri's not dumb enough not to download that data onto some type of drive. You know what I'm saying? That's what.
Oh, I mean, possibly. The only reason why I say possibly is the situation where we see Vision at the end of this episode in the mid credits. I am wondering if Hayward managed to do that instead of Shuri. I'm definitely. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the mid-credit scene here and transition over to Vision real quick, because I will say this. I was not expecting this. This is something that I have personally wanted to see ever since the end of Infinity War. I can't remember if we talked about it on here, just some of my expectations as to what we would like to have seen in, say, the movie Endgame. One of my disappointments, or one of the things, I don't want to say disappointed because I still love that movie, but one of the things I was really hoping that we would get come Endgame would have been the return of Vision. I honestly thought that maybe during that time period, Shuri would have worked on him and we would have gotten sort of this white version of Vision, if you will. And we didn't get that in Endgame. So I was keeping my fingers crossed that we would, and they didn't drop the ball. They didn't drop the hammer then for me. But they did pull the trigger here towards the end of this episode, where we get to see that Hayward still not only has possession of Vision, but they have reassembled him, put him back together. They've been trying to power him up for quite some time. And it's not until they actually have just a taste of Wanda's chaos magic that they're able to go ahead and bring him back to life. And we've got ourselves Vision, ladies and gentlemen. He is, in fact, awake. This, I wouldn't be surprised if he absolutely has no memory of who he used to be or any emotions whatsoever. Or at least, I don't know, he might have some level of emotions, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a disconnect between this Vision and everything else that certainly has happened. But for those of you who are comic book heads like me and Indy are, this is taken straight out of the comic books, straight from West Coast Avengers. West Coast Avengers, good old white Vision here. A couple of other shots of him here also. So this is a phase for Vision to certainly go through during his time with Wanda and his part of the West Coast Avengers. And I got to be honest with you, Indy, the fact that we have this situation, Wanda and with Vision, I'm ready to get Wonder Man in here. I'm ready to get Simon Williams himself. I don't know how they're going to incorporate him, but I really would love to see a Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man dynamic thrown into the mix with this version of Vision, and maybe what we see of the remnants of what's going to turn out to be the Scarlet Witch after this is all said and done. What did you think about this big reveal, though?
I think the reveal was really dope. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know. There was a couple of rumblings around the internet. I knew I had a feeling it was going to be the white version of Vision just because we saw him dismantle. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way you saw it in the comics. Hayward kind of reminds me of, you know what I'm saying, the overseas government or whatever that kind of like, you know what I'm saying, wanted to dismantle him to disarm, from keeping him from knowing how to just try to take over the planet with the missiles and stuff like that. So it reminded me that. And it also makes me think that Hayward is operating weirdly. He's not operating like a sword agent should operate to me. So it kind of makes me think Skrull, maybe.
Okay.
And using Vision as a weapon. But it also lets me know we finna have one hell of a battle in the final scene, and we're going to be able to see the true lengths of Scarlet Witch's power. Like, she's gonna let it all loose.
I'm wondering if we're gonna get a Vision versus Vision scene. Like, I'm wondering if this Vision is gonna be able to break through the hex and keep his form, maybe, and have those two face off against each other. I would be really fascinated to see how that's gonna come into play, because, you know, while you mentioned very early on that you were under the impression that Hayward was using Vision as a weapon, I honestly thought that Vision that we saw again in Sword was inside the hex, and clearly that's not. Hayward still certainly has it. The fact that he played up the part and even played up the lie, if you will, that Wanda came in, stole their property or stole Vision and wind up taking her back. The fact that he's playing up this role continues to show you that, yeah, he's had this plan to eventually try and unleash this Vision at some particular point in time, and now he's got his weapon that he certainly has always wanted.
His plans playing out. His plans playing out, and I feel like he had that plan from the beginning, because it seemed like he knew how Wanda would react, and he used that, because when he came up there, ain't nobody gonna be that nonchalant. When you have literally one of the top two strongest Avengers in your face, two Avengers you're scared of, like hands down, you're scared of Captain Marvel, you're scared of Scarlet Witch. If they say do something, you do it. And he just seemed way like he was just waiting for it to happen. Even the guards at the front desk, you know what I'm saying, scared at the front desk, thought it was kind of weird that he just let her in. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real? You want me to just let her through?
You gonna talk to her? Okay.
Yeah. Are you sure?
She looks kind of pissed. Are you sure about this?
Yeah. She want to take my head off. You want to talk to her? And then when he goes around the corner and just shows her, and I love the way that she just looks. It's like almost like he's not here. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that she's able to recreate him like she is, I thought it was something in the beauty of everything else seemed like it was done out of chaos magic. And then when she's recreating Vision, it seems like it's done out of her connection with the Soul Stone. Because
that would make sense.
Yeah. So it ties in. I feel like it ties into the Soul Stone actually taking souls.
Mind Stone.
Yeah, Mind Stone. I was forget them. They look alike.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. There's too many stones, damn it.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here looking at the gauntlet and like, which one is it? But the Mind Stone, and it just seems like they're also trying to keep in the back of your mind that her powers to me, her powers morphed when she got in contact with the Mind Stone, right? Her powers fully awakened, you know what I'm saying, at that spot when she started to create the hex, which could honestly be a center for magical thing. I don't know. I'm not that much into witchcraft. I've been, you know what I'm saying, reading up on it just because of this. But
you're not doing any sacrifices in your basement, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. I am thinking about getting a baby pig though and seeing if I, you know what I'm saying.
No, it's the goat. You gotta you're doing it wrong. It's the goat. It's the goat. It's the goat. It's the goat.
Is that how I get Rihanna to fall in love with me? Is use the goat?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just interesting the way that they. What have we been talking about since the beginning of this? Like, ever since WandaVision started, we've been talking about House of M, mutants, right? They literally said, just spit in our faces and was like, what mutants? She had these abilities when she was a kid. You know what I'm saying? They just got stronger by interacting with different things. So I'm like, okay, there goes the mutant idea. So
I wouldn't say not even necessarily, because she doesn't even know where she got her abilities from, right? It's just the idea that they manifested one day, and especially during the time when the Stark missile wind up coming in, and she winds up using that probability magic or probability hex that Agatha winds up mentioning, right? So she seems very unaware as to even maybe her past before that. Which 101? It's always a go.
This is what I'm gonna say about that. She has a couple of abilities. I don't believe her telepathy has anything to do with her magic. So I do believe it's something to do. There's some type of mutant power in there, but I do believe that she might come from a line. How they're gonna write it? She might come from a line of witches. Like she's a witch that's a mutant. Not that her magic powers come from her being a mutant. So that just makes her doubly deadly, because the first thing she tries to do when she gets down there is read Agatha's mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good point.
And then she can't read Agatha's mind, so she goes to try to use her magic after that, and she can't use her magic. So it makes me think that they're trying to lead us. Marvel is so freaking good at what they're doing right now.
They're so good at it.
They hint at something, and then they send us totally in the other direction, and was like, oh, nope, walk this way with us, take us down an amazing rabbit hole, which I felt like was like a Alice in Wonderland type thing, like going through them doors, almost like a
comparison.
Alice in Wonderland mixed with A Night Before Christmas, you know what I'm saying, type thing, where she's been taken down history road. Agatha's there with her. So it's really interesting. I love the way it's shot. I love how long we sat with them with kids, and then seeing those parents and realizing, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, because I didn't go back and watch. Are her parents the same characters that are in the commercials that we watch?
I don't. I think the mother is different. I think it's different. I could be wrong though. I have to go back and revisit. I'll check it again.
Yeah, because if that's the case, her keeping her it makes sense with her keeping her family oriented, the way that they learned English from watching, you know what I'm saying, the old TV shows, stuff like that, the sitcoms. It would fit in with that whole, you know what I'm saying, thing. Her remembering her parents by them being in the commercials of the sitcoms, but them also directing us towards stuff's going on. It's so well written, man. And I really think that, like Billy said, I was gonna
give shout out to Keisha here, saying Marvel is straight genius, just so that we were talking about.
Miss Keisha Passmore, Keisha Cautious. What's up, baby? What's up? Miss Air Hustling herself. Yeah, I didn't know I had these many nerds like in the hood. Like everybody's popping up on Facebook. Oh my God, WandaVision. Like I'm seeing the dope boy on the block. Like, did you watch WandaVision yet? And I'm like, I thought you would shoot me because I was watching this and you watching it too. So
everything is Marvel, man. It's taking over our world, bro.
Yeah, but it's crazy that they haven't even got into the chaos magic. At least they let us know that they're keeping the chaos magic. But the fact that Agatha knows what it is, and not knowing that chaos magic is basically just the power to warp reality. You know what I'm saying? Like this is nuts. How OP something's going to happen to Scarlet Witch, because right this minute she is way too overpowered for the Marvel universe, especially for the cinematic universe.
Well, the problem is that she's overpowered and she doesn't know how to control it, right? Like it's very much unhinged for her. That a lot of her stuff that happens is really based off of emotion for her. It feels like that she hasn't really fully tapped into anything, which I'm thinking, if anything, maybe that's where Doctor Strange will come into play. Maybe he'll wind up sort of being her teacher or something like that to help her finally kind of grasp that a little bit. I did also want to say real quick, because you did mention the idea that, that one specific scene of seeing Vision come back, there definitely was a sense of I think because it starts off as a red chaos magic and then it turns into yellow, like that Mind Stone,
and
he was like created directly from that.
It's like coming from her head instead of coming from her hands, like everything else is going.
Let's see here. Richard Rowe, what's up, Rich? He says, I still think I think she's still a mutant like the comics. Is her brother not a mutant then? I mean, we'll see. I mean, they haven't introduced the idea of mutants as of yet. I mean, could she be started off as one and not aware of it? Absolutely. I do think that I do think Indy's probably you might be right, Indy, in regards to maybe she's a sorceress first, then a mutant. Because as of right now, as far as what we know of Pietro, he technically has gotten his powers from the stone also. His speed, but we haven't seen him tap into it as a young guy yet, so it's kind of up in there.
Hold on, this is what happens. She's always been a sorcerer. When the Mind Stone hit her, it unlocked her X gene, and that's where the telepathy came from, and that's why Quicksilver got his speed, because the Mind Stone, you know what I'm saying, unlocked his X gene. So maybe that, because anything when she was little of her being able to read minds. It wasn't until after, like, she's had no semblance being able to read somebody's mind or control somebody's mind until after she came in contact with the Mind Stone.
Well, I guess that'll be what the big question is, right? Like, does that activate her X gene, or the way that I took it was that it just, her getting in contact with the Mind Stone just amplified her sorceress abilities that she is very much unaware that she has. So we'll see how it winds up coming out, though. Billy does say, "What's up, Billy? Appreciate you coming through." I'm still curious if that is really Pietro from the X-Men universe. I believe Agatha probably maybe put that one to bed. For me, at least, I thought that she did. It felt very much more like she was sort of the eyes and ears of whoever she wind up creating to kind of throw Wanda off, if you will.
It made it, the way she kind of explained it, it made it seem like she couldn't bring anybody back from the dead, so she brought her brother's consciousness and put it in a different body.
A different body or something like that, yeah.
So it's technically a little bit of both. You're still getting Pietro, but you're getting Pietro in Peter's body. That's basically what you're getting. So I do believe it's still the multiversal thing where she could probably pluck she saw the image of, you know what I'm saying, what it was or whatever, and it being able to pluck his soul or whatever. Because he said he came back because she needed him. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have a willing, well, it's supposed to be, if we go into all our ghost mumbo jumbo, you can't have a soul come back unless it's willing.
See, but even though he's saying all that stuff, when I watch this episode, I'm thinking that's all Agatha. Like, because one of the things that always jumped out to me when we watched, I guess it was it last week's episode or maybe it was the previous episode with when Pietro's asking her all these questions, right? Like, one of the things I kept saying is, like, out of all the people in this town, he is fully aware as to what's going on with Wanda. He knows something's wrong. He even picks up on the idea that she's creating this entire world around her, right? So he's privy to information that us as a viewer certainly isn't. So when I think of that, I think that's Agatha talking directly through him. So I'm very much on the sense that this Pietro, or Fietro as she calls him, the fake Pietro, I really don't think he's an X-Men universe guy at all. No, I think that's all Agatha.
I don't think he's the X-Men universe guy, but I still think that's Pietro's soul in that body, because I really do feel like him growing up with her and him seeing what's going on, he could recognize what's going on immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, this looks like what we used to watch when we were kids type stuff, but I'm with my sister and she seems like she might need me, so I'm just going to go along with it type thing. But still being used by Agatha to push, you know what I'm saying, a narrative for her, because the whole time everybody asking questions or them to ask questions is Agatha trying to figure out who is this person that has this power that I want to take or that I want to use, because I really still feel like Agatha wants that power for something. They're just doing really good at making us wait on what it is. We have an idea, but they're really going to make us, if we even get the reason, because they could make us wait even longer to figure out what it's for.
Yeah, so, and that's one of the things I was saying was I definitely feel like there's a twofold here when it comes to Agatha's purpose. I feel like one, there's a little bit of envy, the fact that all those years that Agatha has trained and practiced and even accessing dark energy that she's, dark magic that she's not supposed to, she still can't do half the things that Wanda certainly is. And she certainly wants a little bit of that for herself. And I think the idea of certainly pushing Wanda to this brink, I think there's certainly a bigger goal outside of that I think Agatha certainly has plans for her. But I find that so fascinating.
I really feel like especially in the flashbacks with Agatha, which were friggin' amazing, that it's not just her; it's something with her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, because the way she was flip flopping, you could see remorse in her face for what was going on, but then it would like flip to determination. You know what I'm saying? Like power. I think there is somebody pulling her strings, but she's letting them willingly be pulled. You know what I'm saying? Because she has that taste for power and she's tapped into something she's not supposed to tap into. And that's why I can see a mother being okay with damning, you know what I'm saying, her daughter. Because the world is more important than, you know what I'm saying, what you're trying to do right now. That maybe her coven was waiting on this, you know what I'm saying, Scarlet Witch, and then she's like, I can be, you know what I'm saying, I can be the one mother. It's a whole backstory, you know what I'm saying,
that we don't even know yet.
That we don't even know yet, that could make this way more interesting. But I'm just going into thinking of every comic book I could possibly think of, every storyline I could possibly think of. You know what I'm saying?
What connection they'll use.
Yeah, the hidden things in the background we don't have, the leaks that's been going on, because we still haven't. I still feel like we haven't had that cameo. That what's his name? That Vision that Paul Bettany
kept talking about. Yeah. Do you think it's Doctor Strange? Who do you think the cameo is? Do you think it's Mephisto? You think it's Doctor Strange or
Vision and Doctor? I went back and watched. Vision and Doctor Strange have never shared screen time in any of the movies at all. I went back and checked all that out, but I don't know if they done anything together before because I didn't check that. I just checked like the Marvel movies. I don't be honest?
Oh, go ahead. No, I was gonna say. I think last week didn't somebody throw in the suggestion of Al Pacino as Mephisto? I don't know why, but there is a part of me that continues to like go back to that, like that really wants that to happen. Like when Paul Bettany says he's an actor that I look up to or that I haven't had the opportunity to work with, who wouldn't want to work with freaking Al Pacino? I do think it's a stretch. I trust me when I say I do believe it definitely is a stretch. But I think if anybody can pull it off, it's definitely Marvel.
I'm going to tell you why I would want that, but I don't think I want Mephisto until Doctor Strange. I want them to hold off on that. And the reason why I want Al Pacino as Mephisto is just to hype the rumors about Keanu Reeves being Ghost Rider. Because that would be freaking perfect.
Insane. Yeah, that would be perfect.
But I was thinking about more of they keep talking about that Luke moment, right? About having a Luke moment.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Who better to have a Luke moment with than Luke himself?
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill, who has voiced Nightmare before.
Yo, that's a great theory. I like that suggestion.
Because I'm still on the ropes where it's Mephisto or Nightmare. I feel like it's more than one of them. I feel like Nightmare could be somewhere in the catalyst of wanting Mephisto to come back. I feel like they're setting up a bigger world. I know they want Ghost Rider in the MCU. It works right along with the Blade thing and everything coming up. Doctor Strange with Mephisto and it's so much going on. It's so many different ways they can go that they can go every path that they want to. They could set up a branching path to go in every direction, and like, oh, you have to go deal with Nightmare, you have to deal with Mephisto. Oh, we got Ghost Rider going over here. Like this show on Us is just crazy. But it'd be funny if they even had Mark Hamill do a cameo and it's just Mark Hamill's like a mailman or something like that, and he's not even Mephisto. Like that, we gave you an actual Luke Skywalker moment.
Yeah, Richie says, "Jokes on us." The actor is actually himself. I think that's maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe it's just Paul Bettany showing up as Paul Bettany, or Mark Hamill showing up as Mark Hamill. We'll see.
Yeah, but it could be at this point in time. I don't think it's Doctor Strange showing up because we all expect that. Mm-hmm. We all, because we know what's going on with that. It has to be something big if they're going to do it, and those are just two. They could do anything, but those are just two of the big things. Rather than Charles Xavier, you know what I'm saying, popping up.
Maybe the aerospace engineer also, right? You mentioned you threw something out in our messenger.
So many aerospace, just like everybody, every smart person in a Marvel
is the aerospace engineer. What I was saying also, because you threw out this idea or this rumor or something like that of John Boyega maybe being interested in doing a Blue Marvel. Like, I would love if Blue Marvel somehow managed to pop up in here as that aerospace engineer, because isn't he like a freaking genius himself also? I believe he would. Yeah, I believe he would. He would definitely have connections with Monica Rambeau. I would love to see that if that's who they're referring to also. So a lot of possibilities out there, man. A lot of possibilities.
Yeah. That would definitely be a big cameo. That could be a Luke Skywalker-esque cameo when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Finn finally gets to shine.
Ooh, I thought I had my thing crapped on me for a second. I think this is my internet. I need to log off. So I'm gonna get on out of here. So guys, at the end of the day, though, we definitely want to know your thoughts. You had the opportunity to go ahead and check out WandaVision episode number 8. What are certainly some of your thoughts? What'd you think about Agatha? What'd you think about the reveal of Scarlet Witch as Wanda? What about Vision at the very end? Certainly go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for us here, Indy. Listen, if people want to go ahead and reach out to you, Indy, on social media, where can they find you, sir?
Definitely. You guys can check me out first and foremost right here on APlus Opinions. I know y'all looking for that Batwoman review. Flash is around the corner. We're gonna have a lot of content here, man. Just like this WandaVision stuff, APlus Hero Report every Sunday. I know Adam's gonna plug the Patreon. Y'all make sure y'all get over there. Make sure of it. Anime Assembled in the morning, but y'all can check me out at Nerd Mix Alpha everywhere. Stream the music and check out a new song premiering, New Music Mondays at Ear Hustling on YouTube. I got a new song premiering Monday night.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Indy. And yes, guys, we do have ourselves a Patreon account. If you want to go ahead and support the channel in any way, we certainly would appreciate it. We got to keep the lights on around here. So if you love our content, check us out, patreon.com/APlusOpinions. We've got several different tiers. You not only get access to what we have from APlus Hero Report, but APlus More Phenomenal also. So 2 YouTube channels worth of Patreon content, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and check it out and definitely go ahead and support the channel whenever you can. But if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so right here at APlus Opinions. You can find us Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch for you gamers. All the links will be in the description box below for you guys. But we will be back for you guys every Sunday live at noon to wrap up Marvel, DC, television, and movie news for you guys each and every week. So definitely join us on Sunday at noon. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. So do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And as always, keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.